The photo wasn't supposed to go to him. Maya stared at her phone, hands shaking, watching three dots pulse beneath the image she'd just sent. Not to Jess. Not to her best friend, who'd asked for outfit advice. To a number she didn't recognize. A wrong number. The reply came fast. Interesting mistake. Then another. Don't delete this number. She should have blocked it. Should have thrown her phone in the trash. But 2 days later, a black car pulled up outside her apartment and a man in an expensive suit asked if she was Maya Bennett. Some mistakes you can't unsend. If you want to see how far Maya's world unravels, stick with me until the end. Hit that like button and drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story travels. Maya's thumb hovered over the delete button. She'd been staring at the sent message for 3 minutes now, watching that little checkmark taunt her. Delivered. Read. The photo, her in that black dress Jess had told her to buy, the one that hugged wrong in all the right ways, was out there in the digital void, sitting in some stranger's phone. Shit. The kitchen of her shoebox apartment suddenly felt smaller. The morning sun cut through the grimy window above her sink, highlighting every crack in the linoleum, every water stain on the ceiling. This place cost $1,800 a month. $1,800 for 400 square feet and neighbors who screamed through walls thin as tissue paper. She set the phone down, picked it up, set it down again. The number wasn't saved in her contacts. She'd been rushing, half awake, typing while the coffee maker gurgled behind her. Jess's new number, she'd switched carriers last week, was still just digits in a text thread. Maya had copied it wrong. One number off. That's all it took. Her phone buzzed. Interesting mistake. Maya's stomach dropped through the floor. She typed fast. So sorry. Wrong number. Please delete that. 3 dots appeared immediately. Disappeared. Appeared again. Don't delete this number. What the hell does that mean? Maya said to her empty apartment. She blocked it. Problem solved. She had bigger things to worry about, like the fact that her shift at Roselli's started in 40 minutes and she hadn't slept more than 4 hours. Like the fact that her landlord had taped another notice to her door yesterday, this one printed on pink paper instead of white. Like the fact that her ex, Tyler, kept calling from different numbers, leaving voicemails that started with, "I just want to talk," and ended with him drunk crying. The photo thing? Just embarrassment. She'd survive. She grabbed her jacket, the good one, not the one with the broken zipper, and headed out. Roselli's sat on the corner of 4th and Union, a neighborhood Italian place that charged $28 for pasta and called it artisanal. Maya had worked there for 2 years, long enough to know which regulars tipped well and which ones sent their food back 3 times just to feel important. "You're late," Marco said when she pushed through the kitchen door. 2 minutes. 3. Marco was 47 and had been managing Roselli's since before Maya was born. He wore the same expression every day. Mild disappointment mixed with the exhaustion of a man who'd seen too many waitresses quit mid-shift. "Table 6 needs water. 8 just sat. Tony burned the carbonara again, so we're running low." Maya tied her apron, checked her phone one more time, still blocked, still fine, and grabbed a water pitcher. The lunch rush hit like it always did. Families, business types. A couple having an argument in Italian that Maya couldn't follow but understood perfectly through tone alone. She moved through it on autopilot, smiling when required, upselling desserts, pretending her feet didn't hurt. By 2:30, the crowd had thinned. She was refilling the espresso machine when her phone buzzed in her apron pocket. Probably Jess, finally responding to the 12 texts Maya had sent this morning about the photo incident. It wasn't Jess. "I said don't delete this number." Maya's hands went cold. She'd blocked it. She knew she'd blocked it. But there it was. A message from the same unknown number sitting in her notifications like it had never left. Her fingers shook as she opened the thread. The photo was still there at the top. Her mistake, preserved in pixels. "How did you—" She didn't finish typing. "You look better in person. Less filtered." Maya spun around, scanning the restaurant. Half-empty tables, an older couple by the window, 2 women picking at salads, a guy in a business suit reading his phone. No one watching her. She typed, "Who is this?" The response came instantly. "Someone you shouldn't have contacted, but you did. It was an accident." "I know." "Then delete it and leave me alone." 3 dots. Then, "No." Maya's heart hammered. She shoved her phone back in her apron and tried to focus. Table 4 needed their check. 6 was ready for desserts. The espresso machine was making that grinding noise again, but her phone kept buzzing. Maya Bennett, 2847 Sterling Avenue, apartment 3C. You work at Roselli's. You graduated from Brooklyn Community College 3 years ago. You don't talk to your mother anymore. She grabbed her phone so fast she nearly dropped the water pitcher. Stop, relax. I'm not going to hurt you. Then what do you want? I want you to stop panicking and finish your shift. We'll talk tonight. I'm calling the police. No, you're not. He was right. She wasn't. Because what would she say? A stranger knows my address because I sent him a photo by accident? They'd tell her to block the number and stop wasting their time. Who are you? No response. Maya stood in the middle of Roselli's, holding a water pitcher, trying to remember how to breathe. Oh, she told Marco she was sick. He didn't believe her, but he let her go anyway, probably because she looked pale enough to be convincing. The subway ride home felt longer than usual. Every person standing too close, every phone pointed in her direction, it all felt wrong. By the time she climbed the 3 flights to her apartment, her hands were shaking so badly she dropped her keys twice. Inside, she locked the door, then locked it again, then checked the window facing the fire escape. Her phone rang. Unknown number. The same one. She didn't want to answer. Every rational part of her brain screamed not to answer. She answered, "Hello?" The voice on the other end was calm, deep, the kind of voice that didn't need to raise itself to be heard. Maya. Not a question. A statement. I'm hanging up. I'm blocking this number again, and I'm calling. You're not calling anyone. Watch me. If you were going to call the police, you would have done it already. You're smarter than that. Maya's throat tightened. What do you want from me? Right now, I want you to sit down. I'm fine standing. Sit down, Maya. Something in his tone made her legs move before her brain caught up. She sank onto the edge of her couch, an ancient thing she'd found on Craigslist that smelled faintly of cigarettes and regret. Good. Now listen carefully. This morning, you sent me a photo. You didn't mean to, but you did. That puts you in a unique position. Unique how? You have my attention. I don't want your attention. Too late. Maya's pulse hammered in her ears. Who are you? My name is Dominic Cain. The name meant nothing to her. She waited for more. You don't know who I am, he continued, almost amused. That's refreshing. Should I? Most people in this city do. Well, I don't, so you can take your attention, and I'm going to send a car for you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Maya laughed, a sharp, broken sound. You're insane. Probably. I'm not getting in any car. Yes, you are. No, I'm really not. There was a pause. Then, do you know what I do, Maya? I don't care what you do. You should. I own things, businesses, properties, people. Sometimes, when they owe me enough, I'm not someone you say no to. You don't own me. Not yet. Her stomach turned. This is kidnapping, extortion. You'll what? Go to the police with what evidence? A phone number that'll be disconnected by tomorrow morning? Be smart. Then what do you want? Another pause, longer this time. I want to meet you, properly, 8 p.m. tomorrow. The car will be outside your building, black sedan. If you don't show, I'll assume you're not interested in keeping things simple. And if I do show, then we talk, that's all. Just talk. Just talk. The line went dead. Maya sat there, phone pressed to her ear, listening to silence. She didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the hallway sent her heart racing. She triple-checked the locks, shoved a chair under the doorknob, kept her phone within arm's reach. At some point around 3 a.m., she pulled up Google. Dominic Cain, Brooklyn. The results were sparse, a few business licenses, a photo from some charity gala 5 years ago, a man in a tailored suit, dark hair, sharp features, standing beside a city councilman. No social media, no interviews, nothing personal. She tried different searches, Dominic Cain criminal, Dominic Cain mob, Dominic Cain dangerous, even less. Either he was nobody or he was somebody who knew how to stay invisible. At dawn, she gave up on sleep and made coffee. Her phone sat on the counter, silent. No new messages, no calls. Maybe he'd been messing with her. Maybe the whole thing was some elaborate prank. At 7:50 a.m., her phone buzzed. Remember, 8 p.m., not a prank. She called Jess. Maya, it's 8 in the morning on a Saturday. This better be... I need help. Jess's tone shifted immediately. What happened? Maya told her everything. The photo, the messages, the call, the name. Jess listened without interrupting, which meant she was either taking it seriously or still half asleep. When Maya finished, there was a long silence. Jess? Dominic Cain. You know him? I know of him. Maya, you need to not get in that car. I wasn't planning to. I'm serious. My cousin's boyfriend, he works security at some club in Manhattan. He told me about this guy once. He's not normal businessman. What does that mean? It means he's the kind of person who doesn't make threats. He just does things, and people don't argue. Maya's coffee suddenly tasted like acid. So what do I do? You move. Tonight. Pack a bag and stay with me. He knows where I live, Jess. He knew where I worked. If he wants to find me, then you go to the police. And say what? He hasn't actually done anything illegal. He asked me to get in a car. That's not a crime. Maya, I'll be fine. I needed to tell someone, in case. In case what? Maya didn't answer. What? The day crawled by. She cleaned her apartment, reorganized her closet, pretended to watch TV. At 6 p.m., she showered. At 7, she stood in front of her closet in a towel, staring at clothes she'd worn 1,000 times, none of them right. This is insane, she muttered. You're not actually going. But at 7:45, she was dressed. Jeans, a sweater, nothing fancy. If she was going to get murdered, she'd do it comfortably. At 7:58, she looked out her window. A black sedan idled at the curb. Her phone buzzed. The car is waiting. Maya's hand shook as she grabbed her jacket. She left a note on the counter. If I'm not back by midnight, check the news. And immediately felt stupid. Jess already knew. That would have to be enough. She took the stairs slowly, each step feeling like a decision she could still unmake. The night air was cold. The sedan's engine hummed. Through the tinted back window, she couldn't see anything. The driver's door opened. A man stepped out, tall, built like he spent serious time in a gym, wearing a suit that probably cost more than her rent. He didn't smile. Miss Bennett? That's me. He opened the back door. Maya looked up at her apartment window. The light was still on. She could go back, lock the door, call Jess, pretend none of this was happening. Instead, she got in the car. The door closed with a soft, final click. The interior smelled like leather and something else. Expensive cologne, maybe. The seats were heated. The windows, she noticed immediately, didn't have handles. Where are we going? She asked. The driver didn't answer. He pulled into traffic smoothly, like he'd done this 1,000 times. Maya's phone buzzed. Relax, you'll be home before midnight. She typed back. And if I want to leave before that, then you leave. The doors aren't locked, Maya. You're not a prisoner. She tested the door handle. It opened easily. See? She closed it. They drove through Brooklyn, then over the bridge into Manhattan. The city lights blurred past. Saturday night, crowds filled the sidewalks. People heading to dinner, bars, lives that didn't involve getting into strangers' cars. The sedan turned down a quieter street, then into an underground parking garage. The driver pulled into a spot marked reserved and turned off the engine. This way, Miss Bennett. She followed him to an elevator. He pressed the button for the top floor. How long have you worked for him? Maya asked. Long enough. That's not an answer. No, it's not. The elevator rose in silence. When the doors opened, they revealed a penthouse hallway, actual art on the walls, the kind museums kept behind glass. The driver led her to a set of double doors and knocked twice. Come in. The voice from the phone, deeper in person. The driver opened the door and stepped aside. Maya walked in. Bang. The penthouse was ridiculous. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, furniture that looked like it belonged in a magazine, a bar in the corner with bottles she couldn't pronounce. Everything sleek, expensive, carefully chosen. And standing by the windows, hands in his pockets, was Dominic Cain, The photo from Google hadn't done him justice. He was probably mid-30s, dark hair cut short, wearing a black shirt and slacks like he'd just come from somewhere important, sharp features, the kind of face that photographs knew what to do with. But it was his eyes that stopped her. Gray, cold, the kind that saw too much and gave away nothing. "Maya Bennett," he said. Not a question. "Dominic Cain," she replied. "Apparently." The corner of his mouth twitched, almost a smile. "You came. You gave me a compelling argument. Did I? The part where you implied I didn't have a choice? Very motivating." Now he did smile, just barely. "You always had a choice. You're here because you're curious." "I'm here because you scared me." "Same thing." He moved away from the window, crossing the room with the kind of confidence that came from owning everything in it. He gestured to a chair, white leather, probably cost more than her car. "Sit. I'll stand." "Suit yourself." He poured 2 glasses of something amber from a crystal decanter, held one out to her. Maya didn't take it. "I don't drink with strangers who know where I live." "Smart." He set the glass down. "But I'm not a stranger anymore. We've been texting." "That's not how this works." "Then how does it work, Maya?" She crossed her arms. "You tell me what you want. I say no. I leave. We never speak again." Simple. Very. Dominic leaned against his desk, still holding his drink. "What if I told you I don't want anything?" "I wouldn't believe you." "Why not?" "Because people like you don't invite people like me to penthouses just to chat. People like me. Rich, powerful, probably dangerous." "Definitely dangerous," he corrected. "But that's not why you're here." "Then why am I here?" He took a slow sip of his drink, watching her over the rim of the glass. "Because this morning, you made a mistake. And instead of panicking or begging or trying to manipulate the situation, you told me to delete it and leave you alone. Do you know how rare that is?" "What, honesty?" "Backbone." Maya's jaw tightened. "So this is what? A job interview?" "In a way." "I already have a job." "Slinging pasta for $20 an hour? You can do better." "How would you know what I can do?" Dominic set his glass down. "I know you're 3 months behind on rent. I know you're working double shifts to cover it. I know your ex won't stop calling and you're too stubborn to change your number. I know you dropped out of art school because your mother got sick, and when she recovered, she blamed you for choosing college in the first place." Maya's breath caught. I know things, Maya. It's what I do." She should have been angry, terrified. Instead, she felt something else, something that made her stomach twist. He'd seen her. Actually seen her. Not the version she showed customers at Roselli's or the face she put on for friends. The real her, stripped down to facts and failures. "What do you want from me?" she asked quietly. Dominic stood, closing the distance between them. Not threatening, just present. "I want you to work for me." "Doing what?" "What you're good at." Maya laughed, sharp and bitter. "Waiting tables?" "Photography." Her breath stopped. He gestured to his phone on the desk. "That photo you sent. You took that yourself. Timer, mirror, decent composition. You've got an eye." "That was a selfie, not..." "I looked at your Instagram, the old one, before you made it private, the street photography, the black and whites. You're talented." "I'm a waitress." "You're a photographer who pays bills by waiting tables. There's a difference." Maya's throat felt tight. "Even if that were true, what would I be photographing for you? Your... what? Illegal activities? I run legitimate businesses, clubs, restaurants, real estate. I need someone to document events, parties, openings, someone who can make things look good without making them look fake." "You have professionals for that." "Professionals make everything look the same. I want someone who sees things differently." He paused. "I want you." The words hung in the air between them. "I can't..." $20,000 a month. Cash. No taxes if you don't want them. Flexible hours. You'd work events, maybe 3 or 4 a week. The rest of your time is yours. Maya's mind reeled. 20,000. That was more than she made in 6 months at Roselli's. "Why?" she managed. "Because you're good. And because you don't know who I am, which means you're not trying to impress me or use me. You're just You. I sent you a photo by accident. Best mistake you ever made. She should say no. Every instinct screamed to say no, but 20,000 a month. No more double shifts, no more pink notices on her door, no more pretending she wasn't drowning. If I say yes, she started slowly, what's the catch? No catch. You work? I pay you. Simple. Nothing simple with you. Dominic's smile was sharper this time. You're learning. Maya looked around this penthouse. The art, the view, the life this represented. A world so far from hers they might as well have been different planets. I need to think about it. Take your time. You have until tomorrow. That's not time. That's an ultimatum. It's both. She grabbed her jacket. I'm leaving now. Raymond will drive you home. I'll take the subway. It's 11 p.m. on a Saturday in Manhattan. Raymond will drive you home. Maya wanted to argue. Wanted to prove she didn't need his car or his driver or his money, but her feet hurt, and the subway was 40 minutes, and she was tired of pretending pride was worth more than comfort. Fine. Dominic walked her to the door. Up close, she could smell his cologne, something dark and cedar-like. Expensive. Maya. She stopped, hand on the doorknob. I meant what I said. You're talented, whether you work for me or not. Don't waste it on bad lighting and table 6. Something in her chest cracked. I'll think about it, she repeated. In the elevator, Raymond was silent. In the car, the city lights blurred past again. When they pulled up to her building, he opened her door without a word. Thank you, Maya said. He nodded once. She climbed the stairs to her apartment, unlocked the door, and stood in the middle of her tiny living room. The note she'd left was still on the counter. If I'm not back by midnight, check the news. She crumpled it up. Her phone buzzed. Tomorrow, Maya. Say yes. She didn't respond, but she didn't say no either. Sunday morning arrived with rain. Maya woke to her phone ringing, Jess calling for the 3rd time. I'm alive, Maya answered. Thank God. What happened? He offered me a job. Silence. Jess? What kind of job? Photography. Events? 20,000 a month. Maya, no. I didn't say yes, but you're thinking about it. This is how it starts. He offers you money, makes you dependent, and then what? I keep living like this? Broken, exhausted, and one bad shift away from eviction? Jess's voice softened. I'm worried about you. I know. If you take this job, I haven't decided yet. But if you do, promise me you'll be careful. Maya looked around her apartment, the water stain, the cracks, the life she'd built from scraps and stubbornness. I promise, she lied. The decision made itself. Monday morning, Maya texted the number. I'm in. The response was immediate. Good. First event is Friday. Details coming. That afternoon, an envelope arrived at her apartment. Inside, $5,000 in cash, a new phone, and an address in Manhattan. Advance on your first month. Get a camera. Something professional. See you Friday. Maya stood in her apartment, holding more money than she'd ever seen in one place, and tried to remember what normal felt like. It was already too late. By Wednesday, she had a camera, a Canon she'd researched for hours, spending money that felt both real and impossible. By Thursday, she'd quit Roselli's. Marco hadn't seemed surprised. You got a better offer, he said. Something like that. Be careful, Maya. Everyone kept saying that. Friday arrived too fast. The address led to a club in the meatpacking district, the kind with no sign, just a red door and a line around the block. Maya gave her name to the bouncer. He checked his list and waved her through. Inside was money. That was the only way to describe it. The people, the clothes, the way everyone moved like gravity worked differently for them. Maya clutched her camera and tried not to stare. Maya Bennett? A woman approached. Blonde, early 30s, wearing a dress that cost more than Maya's camera. I'm Vanessa. Mr. Cain asked me to show you around. Where is he? Upstairs. He'll find you later. Vanessa's smile was professional and cold. Your job tonight is simple. Circulate, take photos, make people look good. Don't post anything without approval. That's it? That's it. For the next 3 hours, Maya worked. She photographed beautiful people doing beautiful things, bottles of champagne that cost a month's rent, laughter that sounded expensive. Through her lens, she saw a world that didn't know what struggling meant, and she hated how much she wanted to belong to it. Around midnight, she felt someone watching. She turned. Dominic stood across the room, talking to two men in suits, but his eyes were on her. He said something to the men and crossed the space between them. "How's it going?" "Good. I think. I don't know what I'm doing." "You're doing fine. I've been watching." "That's not creepy at all." His mouth twitched. "Let me see." She handed him the camera. He scrolled through her shots, his expression unreadable. "These are good," he said finally. "Better than good." "You sound surprised." "I'm not. I knew you had it in you." He handed the camera back and their fingers brushed. Maya pulled away too fast. "I should get back to—" "Stay." It wasn't a command, just a word, but it stopped her. "Stay," he repeated. "Take a break. Have a drink." "I don't drink on the job." "You're off the clock now." Before she could argue, he led her to a quieter corner, away from the noise. A bartender appeared with 2 glasses of something clear. "What is this?" Maya asked. "Vodka. Expensive vodka, but still vodka." She took a sip. It burned less than she expected. Dominic leaned against the bar, watching her. "You're good at this. Taking pictures?" "Blending in." "Most people who walk into places like this, you can see them trying. You just exist." "Is that a compliment?" "Yes." Maya took another sip. The alcohol was making her bold. "Can I ask you something?" "You can ask." "Why me? Really?" Dominic considered this. "You want the truth?" "That'd be nice." "Most people in my life want something from me. Money, power, access. They smile and lie and pretend they're not calculating every move. But you sent me a photo by accident and told me to delete it. No games, no angles. Just honesty." He paused. "It's been a long time since someone's been honest with me." "Maybe you surround yourself with the wrong people." "Maybe I do." They stood there, the noise of the club fading into background. Maya knew she should leave. Go home. Keep this professional. But Dominic was looking at her like she was something rare, and she hadn't felt rare in a very long time. "I should go," she said finally. "Raymond will drive you." "I can—" "Maya." His voice was soft. "Let me take care of this, please." The please broke something in her. "Okay." In the car ride home, she stared out the window and tried to figure out when her life had become unrecognizable. Her phone buzzed. "You did well tonight. Same time next week." She typed back. "Okay." Then before she could stop herself, "Thank you for the opportunity." His response came fast. "Thank you for taking it." Maya closed her eyes and let the city lights blur past, carrying her toward a future she couldn't see, but couldn't stop moving toward. Some mistakes, she was learning, were worth making. 3 weeks in, and Maya still flinched every time someone called her by name at these events. She stood in the corner of another upscale venue. This one a gallery in Chelsea, all white walls and abstract paintings that looked like accidents with price tags in the 6 figures. Her camera hung around her neck, heavier now that she knew what she was doing with it. Sort of. "You're doing it again," Vanessa said, appearing beside her with 2 glasses of champagne. "Doing what?" "Hiding. You're supposed to be photographing, not wallflowering." Maya took the glass she didn't ask for. "I'm observing. There's a difference." "Is there?" Vanessa's smile was sharp. She'd warmed to Maya over the past few weeks, but only in the way ice warms in winter, technically measurable, practically irrelevant. "Mr. Cain wants candids. Can't get those from the corner." "I got plenty of candids. Show me." Maya pulled up her camera display. Vanessa scrolled through with the critical eye of someone who'd seen 1,000 event photos and found them all lacking, but her expression shifted, just barely, into something like approval. "These are good. The one with the senator and the art dealer, that's gold." She handed the camera back. "You have instincts. Most photographers he hires are technically perfect and completely soulless." "What happened to them?" "They still work for him, just not at events that matter." Vanessa's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, frowned. "He wants to see you. Upstairs, 3rd door on the left." Maya's stomach dropped. "Now?" "No, next Tuesday." Yes. Now. Is something wrong? With your work? No. With you being nervous every time he asks to see you? Vanessa's look was pointed. Maybe. Maya climbed the stairs, her camera bumping against her ribs with each step. The upstairs hallway was quieter, insulated from the gallery noise below. She found the third door, knocked twice. Come in. Dominic sat behind a desk that probably cost more than her first car, looking at something on his laptop. He didn't glance up immediately, just gestured to a chair. Maya sat. He finished whatever he was reading, closed the laptop, and finally looked at her. 3 weeks of seeing him at events, and she still wasn't used to the weight of his attention. You're settling in well, he said. Thank you. Vanessa says you're talented but skittish. Vanessa talks too much. The corner of his mouth lifted. She does, but she's not wrong. Maya shifted in her seat. If this is about the photos from last week, the photos are excellent. That's not why you're here. He leaned back. How are you finding the work? It's good. Different. Still getting used to it. Used to what? The money? The people? Both. Neither. I don't know. She exhaled. It's weird, okay? A month ago I was scraping by and now I'm photographing people who spend more on wine than I used to make in a year. It doesn't feel real. It's real. You earned it. Did I? I sent you a photo by accident. And you showed up when I asked. You took the job. You're doing the work. That's earning it, Maya. She wanted to believe him. Some part of her, the part that was tired of struggling, did believe him. Why did you want to see me? She asked. Dominic stood, walked to the window. Below, the gallery glittered with people who belonged in places like this. I have an event next Friday. Bigger than the usual circuit. More important. Okay. It's invitation only. Very exclusive guest list. I need someone I can trust to handle it. You have other photographers. I have employees. I'm asking you. Maya's pulse quickened. What kind of event? A fundraiser. Politicians, business owners, people who matter in this city. It'll be at my estate in Westchester. You have an estate. I have several. This one's the closest. He turned back to face her. The pay for this job is different. $50,000 for the night. Maya nearly choked. 50? You'll need formal attire, something that fits the setting. I'll have Vanessa take you shopping tomorrow. I can buy my own dress. Not the kind you'll need for this. His tone left no room for argument. This isn't a club in the meatpacking district. These people notice everything. If you show up in something off the rack, they'll know. And that matters because? Because you're representing me, and I don't do anything halfway. The words settled between them, heavy with implication. What if I mess it up? Maya asked quietly. You won't. You don't know that. Yes, I do. He moved closer, not quite invading her space, but close enough that she had to tilt her head to meet his eyes. You see people, Maya. Really see them. That's rare. These people spend their whole lives performing, and you catch the moments when they forget to. That's what I need. Her throat felt tight. Okay. Okay? I'll do it. Something shifted in his expression. Satisfaction, maybe. Or relief. Good. Vanessa will send you the details. Maya stood to leave, but his voice stopped her at the door. Maya. She turned. Thank you. The words were simple, but coming from him they felt like more. She nodded and left before she could say something stupid. Downstairs, the gallery had gotten louder. Maya slipped back into the crowd, camera raised, and tried to focus on her job instead of the way Dominic had looked at her, like she mattered, like she was more than a mistake. The next morning, Vanessa showed up at Maya's apartment with coffee and an expression that suggested this shopping trip was going to be painful for at least one of them. You live here? Vanessa said, stepping inside and taking in the space with barely concealed horror. It's called affordable housing. It's called depressing. She handed Maya the coffee. We have 4 hours. Let's not waste them. The boutiques Vanessa chose were the kind without price tags in the window, the kind where staff brought you champagne while you browsed. Maya felt like an imposter in every single one. Try this, Vanessa said, thrusting a black dress at her. It doesn't have a price tag. Because if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Lucky for you, you're not paying. Maya disappeared into the dressing room. The dress fit like it had been designed for her body specifically, which, given the price point, it probably had been. She stepped out. Vanessa circled her once. Turn! Maya turned. It's perfect. We'll take it. Don't I get a say? No, you'd pick something safe and boring. This is neither. Vanessa flagged down a sales associate. We'll take this, and she'll need shoes. Size 7, something classic. Jewelry, too. Nothing flashy. 2 hours later, Maya walked out with bags she was afraid to carry too roughly. The dress alone cost $8,000. The shoes, another $1,200. The simple diamond earrings Vanessa insisted on. Maya didn't want to know. This is insane, Maya said as they loaded everything into Vanessa's car. This is Friday, Vanessa corrected. You'll need hair and makeup too. I'll send someone to your place at 4. I can do my own, Maya. Vanessa's tone was patient but firm. This isn't about what you can do. It's about what's expected. These people live in a different world. You want to survive in it. You play by their rules. And what are the rules? Look expensive. Act confident. Don't ask questions you don't want answered. Maya stared at the bags in the back seat. What do you know about Dominic that I don't? Vanessa started the car. A lot, but none of it's my story to tell. That's not reassuring. It's not meant to be. She pulled into traffic. But I'll tell you this. I've worked for Mr. Cain for 6 years. In that time, I've seen him interested in exactly 3 things: business, control, and staying 3 steps ahead of everyone else. He doesn't do personal. He doesn't do attachment. So whatever you think is happening between you two, it's not. Maya's face flushed. Nothing's happening. Good. Keep it that way. But the words rang hollow, and they both knew it. Friday arrived with rain. The hair and makeup team Vanessa sent transformed Maya into someone she barely recognized. Her dark hair was swept into something elegant and complicated. Her makeup was subtle but perfect. When she put on the dress, she looked like she belonged in Dominic's world. She hated how much she liked it. Raymond picked her up at 6. The drive to Westchester took an hour, rain streaking the windows the whole way. When they turned onto a private road, Maya's breath caught. The estate wasn't a house. It was a statement. Stone and glass and architecture that looked like it had been designed to intimidate. Lit windows glowed against the darkness. Cars lined the circular drive. Bentleys, Maseratis, vehicles Maya couldn't even name. Raymond opened her door. Mr. Cain is expecting you in the main hall. Maya stepped out, clutching her camera like a lifeline. Inside was warmth and light and the low hum of wealth. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, people in tuxedos and gowns that cost more than most people's annual salaries. Maya's dress suddenly felt inadequate. There you are. Dominic appeared through the crowd, and Maya forgot how to breathe. He wore a tuxedo like he'd been born in one. Everything about him was sharp, controlled, perfectly calibrated. But when he looked at her, something in his expression softened. You look... He stopped, started again. The dress is perfect. Vanessa has good taste. She does. He offered his arm. Come on, I'll introduce you. The next hour was a blur of names and faces. Politicians whose speeches Maya had seen on TV, CEOs of companies she'd heard of but never thought about. Everyone smiled at Dominic with the kind of warmth that came from fear dressed as respect. And through it all, Maya photographed. She caught the senator laughing at a joke that wasn't funny. The tech mogul checking his phone during a conversation. The socialite whose smile never reached her eyes, moments of truth in a room built on performance. You're enjoying this, Dominic said, finding her near the bar. I'm working. You're smiling. She was. Maya lowered her camera. These people are fascinating. They're all so polished, but nobody's actually happy. Welcome to my world. How do you stand it? You get used to it. Or you become it. He took 2 glasses of champagne from a passing waiter, handed her one. I haven't decided which I am yet. I think you know exactly which you are. His eyes darkened. Do I? Before she could answer, a woman approached, early 50s, elegant, with the kind of presence that commanded attention without asking. Dominic, darling, you've been hiding. Mrs. Castellano, I didn't know you'd be attending. Jonathan insisted. You know how he is about networking. Her gaze slid to Maya. And who is this? Maya Bennett, my photographer for the evening. How modern. Mrs. Castellano's smile was pleasant and predatory. You're quite young for such an important position. Maya met her gaze. I'm good at what I do. I'm sure you are. The woman's attention returned to Dominic. We should talk about the development project. Jonathan has concerns. Tell Jonathan to call me Monday. I'm telling you now. The air shifted. Maya felt it, the subtle change in Dominic's posture, the way his expression went carefully blank. Then you can tell him I said Monday, Diane. Mrs. Castellano's smile tightened. Of course, enjoy your evening. She left, and Dominic's jaw unclenched. That was tense, Maya said. That was nothing. Didn't feel like nothing. He drained his champagne. The Castellanos want something I'm not willing to give. They'll push. I'll say no. Eventually they'll accept it. And if they don't, then they'll learn why people don't say no to me. The words should have scared her. Instead, Maya felt something else, curiosity about what lay beneath Dominic's controlled exterior. Come on, he said. There's someone I want you to meet. He led her through the crowd to a quieter corner where an older man sat alone, watching the party with detached amusement. Mr. Volkov, this is Maya Bennett. The man looked up. Late 60s, sharp eyes, the kind of face that had seen things most people only read about. The photographer. That's me? Dominic speaks highly of your work. That's rare. Maya glanced at Dominic. Does he? I told him you have potential, Dominic said. He told me you see things others miss. Volkov gestured to an empty chair. Sit. Show me. Maya sat, pulled up her camera. Volkov scrolled through her shots from tonight, his expression unchanging. When he reached the photo of Mrs. Castellano, caught in a moment of calculation when she thought no one was looking, he stopped. This one. What about it? You captured exactly who she is. Most photographers would have airbrushed the truth out. You left it in. He handed the camera back. You're wasted on parties. I like parties. You like observing. That's different. Volkov stood, shook Dominic's hand. She's good. Don't ruin her. He walked away, leaving Maya with more questions than answers. Who is that? She asked. Someone I trust. One of the few. He seemed to like my work. Victor doesn't like anything. If he said you're good, you're exceptional. Maya felt warmth spread through her chest. Thank you for introducing us. Thank you for making me look good. They stood there, the party swirling around them, and Maya realized she didn't want to leave. Not the estate, not the event, not this moment where Dominic looked at her like she was more than just an employee. I should keep working, she said. You should. But neither of them moved. The spell broke when Vanessa appeared, tablet in hand. We have a situation. Dominic's expression shifted instantly. What kind? The senator's drunk, getting handsy with one of the waitresses. It's about to become a problem. Handle it. I tried. He's asking for you. Dominic's jaw tightened. Fine. Maya, stay here. I can come. Stay here. He disappeared into the crowd, Vanessa trailing after him. Maya stood alone, feeling the absence of his attention like a physical thing. She lifted her camera and kept working. 20 minutes later, Dominic returned. His expression was darker, his movements sharper. Everything okay? Maya asked. The senator's leaving. His chief of staff will make sure he gets home without embarrassing himself further. What did you say to him? Nothing he'll remember tomorrow, but his staff will. Dominic ran a hand through his hair, the first uncontrolled gesture Maya had seen from him all night. I need air. Want company? He looked at her, surprised. You don't have to... I know. Something in his expression cracked. Come on. He led her through a side door onto a terrace overlooking the estate grounds. The rain had stopped, leaving everything wet and gleaming. The party noise faded to a distant murmur. This is beautiful, Maya said. It's expensive. There's a difference. She leaned against the railing. You don't like it here. I like what it represents. Success, power, proof that I'm not where I started. Where did you start? Dominic was quiet for a long moment. Nowhere good. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting tonight. Maya turned to face him. The distance between them felt charged, like the air before a storm. Can I ask you something? You can ask. Why do you do this? The parties, the networkings, the people who smile at you but don't actually like you. What's the point? Control. In my world, you either control the room or the room controls you. I prefer the first option. That sounds exhausting. It is. He moved closer. But tonight's been different. How? You. You don't care about any of this, the money, the power, the performance. You just see people. Is that bad? No, it's dangerous. For who? For me. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning Maya wasn't sure she understood. Dominic, I'm paying you $50,000 to photograph an event. You should be working, not standing on a terrace with me. It felt like a dismissal. Maya straightened. You're right, I should get back. She turned to leave, but his hand caught her wrist. Wait. She stopped. I didn't mean it like that. His grip loosened but didn't release. I'm not good at this. At what? Wanting things I shouldn't want. Maya's heart hammered. What do you want? He let go of her wrist. Nothing I can have. Go back inside. Finish your work. I'll see you before you leave. This time she left, and he didn't stop her. Inside, the party continued. Maya photographed automatically, her mind stuck on the terrace, on Dominic's words, on the way he'd looked at her like she was something he couldn't figure out. By midnight, guests were leaving. Maya had 3 memory cards full of photos and a headache from champagne she'd barely drunk. She found Dominic in his study, alone, staring at something on his computer. I'm heading out, she said from the doorway. He looked up. Come in. Close the door. She did. He opened a drawer, pulled out an envelope. Your payment, plus a bonus. You don't need to. I do. You earned it. He stood, walked around the desk. The photos tonight were exceptional, exactly what I needed. Good. I'm glad. They stood 3 feet apart, and Maya felt every inch of the distance. About earlier, Dominic started. On the terrace. You don't have to explain. I do. Because I'm going to ask you something, and you need to understand what you're agreeing to. Maya's pulse quickened. Okay. I want you to work for me exclusively. No other clients, just my events, my properties, my world. The pay would be substantial, $300,000 a year plus expenses. The number made her dizzy. That's more than generous, I know, but there are conditions. What conditions? Discretion. What you see, what you photograph stays between us. No posting online, no sharing with anyone outside my organization. You'd essentially be part of my inner circle. Why? Because I trust you. And trust is the most valuable thing I have. Maya's mind raced. $300,000, financial security, a life she'd never imagined. But also Dominic, working for him, being near him, wanting things she couldn't name. I need time to think about it, she said. Take until Monday. Okay. She turned to leave again, and again he stopped her. Maya. Yeah? Whatever you decide tonight meant something, to me. I wanted you to know that. Her throat tightened. It meant something to me, too. In the car ride home, Raymond was silent. Maya stared at the envelope in her lap. $60,000, more money than she'd ever held. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her stomach dropped. She hadn't gotten a message from an unknown number since Dominic had started calling from his regular line. She opened it. Hi, Maya. Miss me? Tyler, her ex, the one who'd been calling from different numbers, leaving voicemails she never listened to. She deleted it, blocked the number. But something nagged at her. Tyler had been quiet for weeks. Why reach out now? She pushed the thought away. By the time Raymond dropped her off, it was past 1 a.m. Maya climbed the stairs to her apartment, exhausted and overwhelmed. Inside, she kicked off the $1,200 shoes and collapsed on her couch. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was Dominic. Get home safe? Just walked in. Good. Sleep well, Maya. She stared at the message for a long time, then typed, You too. Sleep didn't come easy. She lay in bed thinking about Dominic's offer. $300,000 a year, exclusive work, his trust, his world. A world that scared her as much as it drew her in. By Monday morning, she had her answer. She met him at a coffee shop in Manhattan, his choice, somewhere neutral. He was already there when she arrived, sitting in a corner booth with a cup he hadn't touched. "You look like you didn't sleep," he said. "I didn't." Maya slid into the seat across from him. "I thought about your offer." "And?" "I have questions first." "Ask." "What happens if I want out? If this gets too complicated or dangerous or then you walk away? I'm not holding you prisoner, Maya. But you said discretion. What I see stays between us." "That sounds like prison." "It's protection. For you as much as me." He leaned forward. "The people I deal with, the things I'm involved in, they're not always clean. I'm not asking you to participate, just to observe and stay quiet. And if I can't, then don't take the job." Maya took a breath. "I want to say yes, but I'm scared of this world, of losing myself in it, of—" She stopped. "Of what?" "Of you," she admitted quietly. "I'm scared of what happens if I get too close and can't find my way back." Dominic's expression softened. "Then we set boundaries, professional ones. You work for me, nothing more. Clean lines, no confusion." "Can we do that?" "We have to." Maya knew he was right, knew that anything else would be a disaster. But sitting across from him, watching the way morning light caught the gray in his eyes, she also knew boundaries wouldn't be enough. "Okay," she said. "I'm in." "You're sure?" "No, but I'm doing it anyway." He smiled, a real smile, not the controlled ones he showed the rest of the world. "Welcome to the team." They shook hands across the table, professional and formal, but when their palms touched, Maya felt electricity. This was going to be a problem. She just didn't know how big yet. The first month of working exclusively for Dominic passed in a blur of high-end venues and faces Maya was starting to recognize. She photographed charity galas and private dinners, art openings, and business launches. Each event bled into the next until she could navigate his world with something resembling confidence. But the boundaries they'd agreed on were already starting to crack. It started small. A text after midnight asking if she'd gotten home safely. His hand on her lower back when guiding her through a crowded room, lingering a second too long. The way his eyes found her across every venue, like he was checking to make sure she was still there. Maya told herself it meant nothing. She was lying. "You're distracted," Jess said over coffee one Saturday morning. They were at their usual spot in Brooklyn, the only piece of Maya's old life she'd managed to hold on to. "I'm tired." "You're always tired now. When's the last time you had a day off?" Maya had to think about it. 2 weeks ago? Maybe 3. That's not healthy. "It's the job." Jess set down her cup. "No, it's him, this Dominic guy. You're working yourself into the ground trying to prove something." "I'm not." "Yes, you are. And I get it. The money's good, the work's interesting, but Maya, when do you actually live your life?" "This is my life now." "That's what I'm afraid of." Maya's phone buzzed. Dominic's name lit up the screen. Jess saw it and shook her head. "It's Saturday morning. Tell him no." "I can't just, Yes, you can. Watch." Jess grabbed the phone, but Maya snatched it back. "Don't." "Why not? What's he gonna do, fire you?" "Maybe." "Then let him. You had a life before him, you'll have one after." But would she? Maya wasn't so sure anymore. She'd gotten used to the money, the access, the way people looked at her differently when she walked into rooms on Dominic's arm. Going back to struggling felt impossible now. She opened the message. "Need you at the penthouse by 2. Something came up. Maya typed back, "What kind of something?" "The kind that needs documentation." "I'll explain when you get here." She looked at Jess. "I have to go." "Of course you do." "Jess, I'm not mad. I'm worried." "There's a difference." Jess reached across the table, squeezed her hand. "Just promise me you'll be careful. This guy, this world he's pulling you into, it changes people." "I'm fine." "You keep saying that. I'm starting to think you're trying to convince yourself." Maybe she was. The penthouse looked different in daylight, less imposing, more lived in. Dominic answered the door himself. No Raymond, no Vanessa. Just him in jeans and a black t-shirt that made him look younger, more human. "Thanks for coming," he said, stepping aside to let her in. You made it sound urgent. It is. Come on. He led her to a room she hadn't seen before, an office with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and a desk covered in papers. A man sat in one of the chairs, mid-40s, expensive suit, the kind of face that belonged in boardrooms. Maya, this is David Chen, my lawyer. David stood, shook her hand. His grip was firm, professional. Mr. Cain speaks highly of your work. Thank you. I need you to photograph something for me, Dominic said. Documents, contracts, things that need to be preserved exactly as they are. Maya frowned. Why not just scan them? Because scans can be altered. Your photos, with metadata intact, timestamp, everything, those hold up better if we need proof later. Proof of what? Dominic and David exchanged a look. A business deal gone wrong, David said carefully. We're building a case. These documents are crucial. Maya set down her camera bag. Is this legal? Completely, David assured her. We're documenting our own materials, nothing illicit. Then why does it feel like it is? Dominic's expression was unreadable. Because you're smart enough to know that legal and clean aren't always the same thing. Are you asking me to do something that could get me in trouble? No, I'm asking you to photograph papers, that's it. What happens with those photos afterward is my problem, not yours. Maya looked at the stack of documents on the desk. Hundreds of pages, maybe thousands. This is going to take hours. I know, that's why I'm paying you double. I don't want double. I want honesty. What am I really documenting here? Dominic was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded to David. Give us a minute. David left, closing the door behind him. Sit, Dominic said. Maya sat. He leaned against his desk, arms crossed. You remember the Castellanos from the fundraiser? The woman who wanted to talk to you about a development project. Right, they're trying to force me into a partnership I never agreed to. These documents prove I never signed their contract. They're claiming I did. So they're lying. They're gambling that I don't have proof, but I do. You're going to help me preserve it. Maya studied him. Why me? You have people for this. Because I trust you. And because if this goes to court, I need someone who can testify that these photos are accurate, unaltered, exactly what they claim to be. You have no stake in this, no reason to lie. That matters. So I'm not just a photographer. I'm a witness. You're both. Maya should have said no, should have walked out right then. This was too close to the dangerous side of Dominic's world, the part he'd promised she wouldn't have to touch. But he was looking at her like she was the only person he could count on, and she couldn't walk away from that. Okay, she said, I'll do it. The relief in his expression was brief but real. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You haven't seen my invoice. He almost smiled. Whatever you charge, it's worth it. She spent the next 5 hours photographing documents, page after page, contract after contract. Dominic stayed the whole time, reading through papers, making notes, occasionally explaining something when she asked. David came and went, bringing coffee and food Maya barely touched. By the time she finished, the sun was setting. Done, she said, lowering her camera. Every page, every signature, all documented. Dominic stood from where he'd been working at his desk. Let me see. She pulled up the photos on her display. He scrolled through methodically, checking each one. These are perfect. Exactly what I needed. Good. Can I go home now? Actually, I was hoping you'd stay for dinner. Maya blinked. Dinner? You've been here for 5 hours. You barely ate. Let me feed you before Raymond drives you back. You don't have to. I want to. The words were simple, but they hit differently coming from him. Maya glanced at the time. Almost 7. Jess's warning from this morning echoed in her head. But she was hungry and tired, and the thought of going home to her empty apartment felt lonelier than it should. Okay, she said. Dinner. He ordered in, Thai food from a place that definitely didn't deliver to normal people. They ate at his dining table, the city lights spreading out below them through the windows. You did good today, Dominic said between bites of pad thai. I took pictures of papers. Not exactly thrilling. You helped me. That's thrilling to me. Maya set down her fork. Can I ask you something? Always. Why do you do this? The deals, the fighting, the constantly proving you're untouchable. What's it all for? Dominic was quiet, considering. You really want to know? I wouldn't ask if I didn't. He stood, walked to the window. I grew up with nothing. And I mean nothing. My father was a drunk who disappeared when I was 8. My mother worked 3 jobs and still couldn't keep the lights on. I spent my childhood wearing other kids' hand-me-downs and pretending I wasn't hungry. Maya's chest tightened. When I was 16, I started working for a guy in my neighborhood. Small stuff at first. Deliveries, collections. I was good at it. Good enough that he brought me in deeper. By the time I was 20, I was running half his operations. What happened to him? He got greedy, made a deal with the wrong people. I saw it coming and got out before it collapsed. Took everything I'd saved and went legitimate. Mostly. Mostly? Dominic turned to face her. I don't deal drugs or hurt people, but I'm not naive about how business works in this city. Sometimes you have to get your hands dirty to protect what's yours. Is that what the Castellanos are? Dirty business? They're people who think money buys them immunity from consequences. I'm proving them wrong. Maya stood, crossed to where he stood by the window. You could walk away. From all of it. You have enough money to disappear and never worry about anything again. I could, but then I'd just be running, and I'm tired of running. From what? From the kid I used to be, the one who had nothing and was nothing. Every deal I close, every person who learns not to cross me, it's proof that I'm not him anymore. You never were, Maya said quietly. That kid survived, built something from nothing. That takes more strength than any of these people in their penthouses and estates will ever have. Dominic looked at her like she'd said something profound instead of obvious. You see me differently than other people do. Maybe that's because I'm not afraid of you. You should be. Why? You've never given me a reason to be. Not yet. The words hung between them, heavy with implication. They were standing too close. Maya could smell his cologne, see the flecks of darker gray in his eyes. I should go, she said. You should. Neither of them moved. Dominic. Don't. His voice was rough. Don't say whatever you're about to say, because if you do, I'm going to cross a line I promised myself I wouldn't cross. What line? The one between employer and something else. Maya's heart hammered. What if I want you to cross it? Then you're making a mistake. Maybe, but it's mine to make. He reached out, his hand cupping her jaw. The touch was gentle, almost reverent. I told you I'm not good at wanting things I shouldn't want. What do you want? You. Since the night you showed up at that first event in a dress that wasn't fancy enough and didn't care. Since you looked at these people like they were specimens instead of gods. I want you, Maya, and that scares the hell out of me. She leaned into his touch. Why? Because wanting means vulnerability, and vulnerability gets you killed in my world. Then maybe you need a different world. Maybe I need you in mine. He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was months of tension breaking, boundaries shattering, all the things they'd been pretending not to feel crashing together at once. Maya's back hit the window, Dominic's hands in her hair, her fingers gripping his shirt. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, reality came flooding back. We can't do this, Maya said. I know. It's a terrible idea. The worst. We agreed on boundaries. We did. So we stop, right now, pretend this didn't happen. Dominic's forehead rested against hers. Can you do that? No. Neither can I. He kissed her again, softer this time, like he was memorizing the shape of her mouth, the taste of her. When he pulled back, his expression was torn. If we do this, he said, everything changes. Your job, our arrangement, the way people see you. They'll think you slept your way into this position. Let them think what they want. Maya, I'm not naive, Dominic. I know what this means, but I'm tired of pretending there's nothing here. Aren't you? Every damn day. Then stop pretending. This time, when he kissed her, it felt like a decision, like choosing her over every careful rule he'd built his life around. They ended up in his bedroom, all dark sheets and floor-to-ceiling windows. Maya had never been in this part of the penthouse. It felt intimate, seeing where he slept, where he let his guard down, if he ever did. Afterward, they lay tangled in sheets that probably cost more than her first car, the city glittering outside. This is going to complicate everything, Dominic said into the darkness. I know. People are going to talk. Let them. He turned to face her, propping himself up on one elbow. You're not worried? Terrified, actually, but I'm tired of being scared of the wrong things. What do you mean? I spent years being scared of not having enough money, not being good enough, not mattering, and then you showed up and gave me all of that. But the thing I'm actually scared of? Losing this. Whatever this is. It's real, Dominic said. Too real, and that's the problem. Why is it a problem? Because real things can be taken away, and I've spent my entire life making sure nothing can touch me. But you... He stopped. You already have. Maya reached up, traced the line of his jaw. So what do? We're careful. We keep this between us for now. Let people think what they've always thought, that you're my photographer, nothing more. And when we can't hide it anymore, then we deal with it. Together. The word settled into her chest, warm and terrifying. Together. She'd been alone for so long she'd forgotten what that word felt like. Raymond drove her home at midnight. Maya stared out the window, her lips still swollen from Dominic's kisses, her body still humming. Everything had shifted. There was no going back. When she got to her apartment, she found a note taped to her door. Not from her landlord this time. We need to talk. Please. T. Tyler. Maya ripped the note down, crumpled it, threw it in the trash. She hadn't seen or spoken to her ex in months. Whatever he wanted, she didn't care. But something nagged at her. Tyler showing up now, just as things with Dominic were getting complicated. It felt wrong. She locked her door, triple-checked it, and went to bed. She didn't sleep well. The next morning, she found flowers outside her door. Cheap grocery store roses, the kind Tyler used to buy when he was apologizing for something. The card read, I made mistakes. Let me fix them. Maya threw them in the trash and called Dominic. My ex is leaving notes and flowers at my apartment. Dominic's voice sharpened immediately. When did this start? Last night, this morning. I don't know. It's the first I'm seeing of it. What's his name? Tyler Morrison. We broke up 6 months ago. He's been calling from different numbers, but this is the first time he's shown up in person. I'll handle it. You don't have to. Yes, I do. Send me your address. I'm sending someone to watch your building. Dominic, that's excessive. It's necessary. I don't take chances with things that matter. The words made her chest tight. Okay. And Maya? Pack a bag. Stay at the penthouse tonight. I'm not running from my ex. You're not running. You're being smart. Please. The please broke her resistance. Okay. I'll be there by 6. She packed quickly, enough for a few days just in case. When she went downstairs, she found Raymond waiting at the curb. Mr. Cain sent me, he said simply. Of course he did. At the penthouse, Dominic was on the phone, pacing. He looked up when she walked in, relief flashing across his face. He held up one finger, 1 minute, and continued his conversation. I don't care what it costs. I want to know everything about Tyler Morrison. Employment, finances, who he talks to, where he goes, everything. A pause. By tomorrow morning. Good. He hung up. That was fast, Maya said. I have people who move fast when I tell them to. He crossed to her, pulled her into a kiss that felt like reassurance. You okay? I'm fine. It's just Tyler being Tyler. He gets like this sometimes when he's drunk or lonely or both. Has he ever been violent? No, just pathetic. Pathetic men do dangerous things when they're desperate. Dominic took her bag, set it down. You're staying here until I know he's not a problem. I can take care of myself. I know you can. Humor me anyway. Maya wanted to argue, but the truth was, Tyler showing up had unnerved her more than she wanted to admit. Okay, but just for tonight. We'll see. That night, they ordered in again. Dominic worked while Maya edited photos from the week. It felt domestic, normal, like they were a couple instead of whatever complicated thing they actually were. Around midnight, Dominic's phone rang. He looked at the screen, frowned. I need to take this. He disappeared into his office. Maya tried not to eavesdrop, but the penthouse wasn't that big. She heard fragments, names she didn't recognize, amounts of money that made her dizzy, the word problem more than once. When he came back, his expression was dark. Everything okay? she asked. The Castellanos are pushing back harder than expected. They've got the city councilman in their pocket. He's threatening to block my permits unless I play nice. Can he do that? He can try. Won't work, but it'll slow things down. Cost me money and time. What are you going to do? Remind them why people don't threaten me. The coldness in his voice sent a chill through her. This was the Dominic other people saw, the one who built empires and crushed enemies. How? She asked. Better if you don't know the details. Why? I thought we were being honest with each other. We are. But some things, Maya, some parts of my world are ugly. I don't want them touching you. They already are. I'm here, in your penthouse, because my ex showed up, and you sent people to investigate him. I'm photographing documents for legal cases. I'm in this, Dominic. You can't protect me from it while pulling me deeper. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. You're right. You deserve to know what you're involved in. So tell me. He sat down beside her on the couch. The Castellanos want to develop a property in Queens. Luxury condos, high-end retail. It's worth millions. They thought they had me signed on as a partner, but I never agreed. The contract they're showing people? Forged. Can you prove it? That's what the documents you photographed are for, but proving it in court takes time. Meanwhile, they're spreading rumors that I'm unreliable, that I back out of deals. It's damaging my reputation. So what's your move? I have information on Jonathan Castellano, things he doesn't want public. I'm going to make it very clear that if he continues down this path, his secrets become tomorrow's headlines. Maya's stomach turned. That's blackmail. That's business. It's illegal. Only if you get caught. He saw her expression. I'm not proud of it, Maya, but this is how my world works. You protect what's yours by any means necessary. And what if someone does that to you? Uses your secrets against you? They try. Often. That's why I don't have secrets worth using. Everyone has secrets. Not me. Everything ugly about my past? It's already public record if you look hard enough. I made sure of it years ago. Can't be blackmailed if there's nothing left to expose. Except me. The words hung between them. Dominic's expression shifted. What do you mean? I'm your secret now. If someone wanted to hurt you, they'd come after me. No one's coming after you. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because I'd burn this entire city down before I let anyone touch you. The intensity in his voice should have scared her. Instead, it made her feel safer than she'd ever felt. I'm staying, she said. Not just tonight. However long this takes. I'm staying. Maya, you don't get to protect me by pushing me away. That's not how this works. I don't want you hurt because of me. Then don't hurt me. But don't shut me out either. He pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. You're going to ruin me. Good. Maybe you need ruining. He laughed, the sound rough and honest. Maybe I do. They stayed like that for a long time, wrapped in each other, the city glittering below them. Maya knew they were standing on the edge of something dangerous. But she'd spent her whole life playing it safe, and where had that gotten her? Nowhere. At least with Dominic, nowhere felt like somewhere worth being. The next morning, Dominic's investigator called with information on Tyler. Maya listened while Dominic took the call in front of her. No more secrets. He's in debt, gambling mostly, owes money to some people who don't ask nicely. Dominic's jaw tightened. How much? Christ, and he's been asking around about Maya? Since when? Maya's blood went cold. Dominic hung up. His expression was carved from stone. What did he say? Maya asked. Tyler's been watching you for weeks, following you to events, taking pictures. Why would he? Understanding hit her. He's using me. He thinks I'm worth something because I work for you. He knows exactly who you work for, and he knows people who'd pay good money for information about me. Maya felt sick. I swear I didn't know. I haven't talked to him in months. I know you didn't. This isn't your fault. Dominic's voice was gentle, but his eyes were ice. But it's a problem I need to solve. What are you going to do? Have a conversation with Tyler. Make sure he understands that his interest in you ends today. Dominic, please don't. Don't what? Protect you? That's not negotiable. I don't want you doing something you'll regret because of me. The only thing I'd regret is not doing enough. He kissed her forehead, already pulling away. already shifting into the version of himself that handled problems. Stay here. Vanessa's coming by in an hour to go over this week's schedule with you. Don't leave the penthouse. You're not my babysitter. Today I am. He left before she could argue. Maya spent the day pacing, anxious, checking her phone every 5 minutes. Vanessa showed up with coffee and sympathy. He'll handle it, she said. He always does? That's what I'm afraid of. Tyler made his choice when he started following you. Whatever happens now, he earned it. Maya wanted to disagree, but Vanessa was probably right. Dominic returned that evening, his knuckles bruised. What did you do? Maya asked, grabbing his hand. Had a conversation, like I said. With your fists? He got aggressive. I defended myself. Then I made my point very clear. He won't be bothering you again. Did you threaten him? I gave him options. Leave the city and his debts disappear, paid in full, or stay and deal with the people he owes without my protection. He chose to leave. Just like that? Just like that. He's on a bus to Chicago tonight. Fresh start, clean slate. All he has to do is never contact you again. Maya should have felt relieved. Instead, she felt the weight of what Dominic was capable of. You paid his debts. It was cheaper than the alternative. Which was? You don't want to know. He was right. She didn't. But she was learning that being with Dominic meant living with the things she didn't want to know. The dark spaces between his legitimate business and the world he came from. The violence he was capable of even when he didn't choose it. Thank you, she said quietly, for protecting me. Always. He pulled her close. You're mine now, Maya. That means something in my world. It means no one touches you without going through me. The possessiveness should have bothered her. It didn't. Because for the first time in her life, someone was choosing her, protecting her, making her matter, even if the cost was higher than she'd ever imagined. 2 months passed in a haze of carefully constructed normalcy. Maya moved between the penthouse and her apartment, though she spent more nights with Dominic than alone. They kept their relationship hidden at events, professional smiles, careful distance, nothing that would feed the gossip machine. But behind closed doors, the walls came down. She was learning him. The way he took his coffee black at dawn but added cream after 8. How he worked through problems in silence, jaw tight, until the solution appeared. The scar on his ribs from a fight he wouldn't talk about. The nightmares that woke him at 3 a.m., sweating and defensive until he remembered where he was. And she was letting him learn her fear of becoming her mother, bitter and small and blaming everyone else. The way she needed silence after crowds. How she still counted money twice even though she had more than enough now. It felt dangerous, this intimacy. Like building a house on sand. The first crack appeared on a Tuesday. Maya was editing photos in Dominic's office when her phone rang. Unknown number. She'd gotten careful about those since Tyler left town. Hello? Silence. Then breathing. Who is this? She demanded. A laugh. Male. Unfamiliar. You're even prettier in person than in the photos. Her blood went cold. What photos? The ones your boyfriend's been keeping from you. Ask him about Sergei Volkov. Ask him why you matter. The line went dead. Maya sat frozen, the phone still pressed to her ear. Volkov. The older man from the fundraiser. Someone Dominic trusted. One of the few. The door opened. Dominic walked in with lunch, stopped when he saw her face. What happened? Someone just called me. A man. He said to ask you about Sergei Volkov and why I matter. Dominic's expression went carefully blank. The same look he got when playing cards with people who thought they could read him. What exactly did he say? That I'm prettier in person than in photos. That you're keeping things from me. Her voice shook. What's he talking about, Dominic? He set down the food, slow and deliberate. Sit down. I don't want to sit down. I want answers. Sit. Down. The command in his voice made her obey. He pulled up a chair across from her, elbows on his knees, face grave. Viktor Volkov isn't just someone I trust. He's someone I owe. A long time ago, when I was nobody, he gave me the money to go legitimate. No interest, no strings, just belief that I'd pay him back. Okay, so I did pay him back. With interest. But Viktor, he's got enemies. People who want to hurt him can't get to him directly. So they look for leverage, people he cares about, people I care about. Understanding hit like ice water. Me. You. 3 weeks ago, Victor's people picked up chatter. Someone's been watching you, not Tyler. Someone else. Someone with resources. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was handling it. I put extra security on you. Raymond's not just a driver, Maya. He's former military. When you're with me, there are always people watching, keeping you safe. That's not the same as telling me the truth. I was protecting you by lying to me? We promised honesty, Dominic. That was the deal. His jaw clenched. You're right. I should have told you. I didn't want you living in fear. So you let me live in ignorance instead? Maya stood, pacing. Who's watching me? What do they want? We don't know yet, but the call you just got means they're getting bolder, making themselves known. What does that mean? It means the game's changing. He pulled out his phone, typed something. I'm moving you somewhere safer. The penthouse isn't secure enough. I'm not going into hiding because someone made a phone call. Maya, no, I'm not running. I'm not letting some faceless threat control my life. This isn't about control. It's about keeping you alive. The words hung in the air, stark and terrifying. You think they'd kill me? She asked quietly. I think they'd do whatever hurts me most, and losing you... He stopped. That would destroy me. So yes, I think they'd kill you. Or worse. Maya's legs felt weak. She sat back down. What do we do? You let me protect you. No arguments, no independence. You go where I say, when I say, with who I say. Until this is over. Every independent bone in her body wanted to refuse. But the fear in Dominic's eyes, real fear, not the controlled version he showed the world, made her pause. For how long? However long it takes to find them and end the threat. End it how? His expression darkened. However I have to. She knew what that meant. Violence. Maybe worse. The parts of Dominic that lived in shadows and didn't apologize. I need air, she said. You're not leaving this building. Then I need space from you, just for an hour. Pain flashed across his face, but he nodded. Guest room, second door on the left. Lock the door if it makes you feel better. She did. Inside the guest room, barely used, impersonal, Maya sat on the bed and tried to process everything. Someone was watching her, threatening her, using her to get to Dominic, and he'd known for weeks without saying a word. Her phone buzzed, a text from the unknown number. He'll get you killed. Leave now and you live. Stay and your leverage. Your choice. Her hands shook as she screenshot the message. Then she unlocked the door and went to find Dominic. He was in his office, on the phone, voice low and dangerous. He looked up when she entered, held up one finger. I don't care how you do it. Find out who called her and bring them to me. Alive. He listened. Good. 1 hour. He hung up. Maya showed him the text. His face went white, then red, then stone cold. When? Just now. They have your number, which means they've been closer than we thought. He was already moving, pulling files from his desk, shoving them in a safe. We're leaving, now. Where? Somewhere they can't find you. Pack whatever you need. 5 minutes. Dominic, wait. There's no time for waiting. His voice cracked. They just threatened your life directly. This isn't a game anymore. It never was a game. You're right, it wasn't. And I should have been honest from the start. But I'm being honest now. Someone wants to use you against me, and I will burn everything I've built before I let that happen. So please, Maya, please just let me get you somewhere safe. The desperation in his voice broke her. Okay, 5 minutes. She packed fast. Clothes, laptop, camera, the essentials. When she came out, Raymond was waiting with 2 other men she'd never seen, both built like brick walls, both carrying guns they didn't bother hiding. This is Marcus and James, Dominic said. They're going with us. Where? My house in the Catskills. It's secure, off-grid. No one knows about it except the people in this room. What about your businesses? Your events? Vanessa can handle them. You're more important. They took a back elevator to an underground garage Maya didn't know existed. A black SUV waited, windows tinted dark enough to be illegal. Marcus drove. James rode shotgun. Dominic and Maya sat in back, Raymond in a second vehicle behind them. The drive took 3 hours. Maya watched the city disappear in the rearview mirror, replaced by highways and trees, and eventually dirt roads that led to nowhere. The house was more compound than home. Stone walls, security cameras, gates that required codes and fingerprints. Inside was warm but impersonal, a place to hide, not live. "How long have you had this place?" Maya asked. 6 years. Built it right after Victor warned me that I was making enemies faster than allies. Dominic checked his phone, frowned. "Marcus, James, perimeter check. Raymond, monitor the cameras. No one gets within a mile without me knowing." They dispersed, leaving Maya and Dominic alone in the main room. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "For what? Protecting me?" "For not telling you the truth sooner, for thinking I could keep you safe and in the dark at the same time." He sat on the couch, suddenly looking exhausted. "I've spent my whole life controlling situations, staying 3 steps ahead. But with you, I keep miscalculating, because I care too much and it's making me stupid." Maya sat beside him. "You're not stupid. You're scared, terrified. I've never had something this worth losing before." She took his hand, laced their fingers together. "Then let's not lose it, but that means honesty, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard." "I can do that." "Can you?" "Because I need to know everything now, not bits and pieces, everything." He took a breath. "Okay. What do you want to know? Who do you think is behind this?" "I have suspicions. The Castellanos are obvious. They're angry about the lawsuit, about me exposing their forged contracts. But this feels bigger than them." "Who else?" "There's a developer named Anton Petrov, Russian, connected. I outbid him on a property last year, cost him millions. He's the type who holds grudges." "Anyone else?" Dominic hesitated. "There's a possibility this is about Victor, not me. Someone trying to hurt him through me. Through you." "Why would they do that?" "Because Victor's protected, untouchable. But the people he cares about aren't. If they can't get to him, they get to me. If they can't get to me directly, they get to you. So I'm collateral damage in a war I don't even understand. You're not damage. You're the thing I'd sacrifice everything to protect, and that makes you powerful. It also makes you a target." Maya pulled her hand away, stood up. "I need to think." "About what?" "About whether I can live like this. Always looking over my shoulder, always waiting for the next threat. Always being the thing someone uses against you." "Maya, I love you, Dominic." The words came out raw, unplanned. "I didn't mean to. I tried not to. But I do. And that's the problem. Because loving you means accepting this. All of it. The violence and the secrets and the danger. And I don't know if I'm strong enough." He stood, crossed to her. "You're the strongest person I know. I'm a waitress who got lucky with a wrong number. I'm not built for this world. You're a photographer who sees truth when everyone else sees performance. You're someone who faced me without fear when everyone else flinches. You're exactly who you need to be." "But is that enough?" "It's everything." He kissed her, and Maya let herself believe him. Just for a moment. They spent 3 days in the Catskills. Dominic worked remotely, fielding calls and managing crises from the secure house. Maya photographed the woods, the light through trees, anything to keep her hands busy. Marcus and James rotated shifts. Raymond cooked surprisingly good meals. It felt like a strange kind of vacation, except for the guns, and the constant tension, and the knowledge that somewhere out there someone wanted her dead or worse. On the 4th morning, Dominic got a call. Maya watched his expression shift from neutral to satisfied. "You're sure? Positive ID?" He listened. "Good. Hold him. I'll be there tonight." He hung up, looked at Maya. "They found who made the call." "Who?" "Low-level guy working for Petrov. He's been following you for weeks, taking photos, tracking your movements, reporting back." "What happens to him now?" "I'm going to have a conversation, find out what Petrov knows and what he's planning." "Another conversation like the one with Tyler?" "Probably worse." Maya's stomach turned. "I don't want you to torture someone because of me." "I'm not doing it because of you. I'm doing it because he threatened what's mine. There's a difference." "Is there?" "To me, yes." She watched him check his weapon, methodical and practiced. This was the Dominic she'd glimpsed but never fully seen. The The one who'd built his empire on being more ruthless than his enemies. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Always." "Have you killed anyone?" He stopped, looked at her directly. "Yes." The honesty was jarring. "How many?" "Does it matter?" "To me, yes." 3. All in self-defense or defense of others. All people who would have killed me or people I cared about, and I'd do it again if I had to. Maya nodded slowly. "Okay." "That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? That I'm horrified?" "I am." "That I'm scared?" "I am. But I asked for honesty and you gave it to me. I'm not going to punish you for that." "Most people would run." "I'm not most people." "No, you're not." He crossed to her, cupped her face in his hands. "I need to go to the city. Deal with this. You'll stay here with Marcus and James." "How long?" "Overnight, maybe longer. Depends on what this guy knows." "Be careful." "Always am." He kissed her goodbye, and Maya tried not to think about what he was driving toward. The violence, the interrogation, the parts of him that lived in darkness. But she couldn't stop thinking about it. Hours passed. Maya tried to read, couldn't focus. Tried to edit photos, couldn't concentrate. She was pacing the living room when her phone rang. Jess. She'd barely talked to her best friend in weeks. The guilt hit hard. "Hey," Maya answered. "Oh my God, you're alive. I was starting to think you'd been kidnapped." "Just busy." "Too busy to text. Maya, what's going on?" "It's complicated." "With him? With Dominic?" Maya glanced at Marcus, standing by the window. "Yeah." "Are you safe?" "I'm fine." "That's not what I asked." Maya moved to the bedroom, closed the door. "Someone's been threatening me. Dominic moved me somewhere secure until he handles it." "Threatening you how?" "Phone calls, texts, following me." Maya's voice cracked. "Jess, I'm in over my head." "Then get out. Walk away. Come stay with me. We'll figure it out." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I love him." Silence on the other end, then, "Oh, Maya. I know it's stupid. I know it's dangerous, but I can't just turn it off. Love doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your safety, your life. He's trying to keep me safe. That's why I'm here. And what happens when he can't? When the threats become real and you're caught in the crossfire?" "I don't know. I'm trying not to think about it. That's not a plan. That's denial." Maya sat on the bed, suddenly exhausted. "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to think about who you were 6 months ago and who you're becoming, and decide if that's someone you want to be." "Who am I becoming?" "Someone who accepts violence as normal, who hides in safe houses and doesn't question when the man she loves goes off to handle threats. Maya, this isn't you." "Maybe it is now." "Then I don't know how to help you." The pain in Jess's voice cut deep. "I have to go," Maya said quietly. "Call me when you're ready to be honest with yourself. I'll be here." The line went dead. Maya sat in the silence, Jess's words echoing. Was this who she was becoming? Someone who accepted Dominic's world without question? Who loved a man capable of violence and told herself it was necessary? Her phone buzzed. A message from Dominic. Getting answers. This should be over soon. She wanted to ask what over meant, what he was doing to the man they'd caught, whether she'd recognize him when he came back. Instead, she typed, "Be safe." His response was immediate. "Always. For you." Night fell. Marcus ordered dinner. Chinese food from a place 40 minutes away. The closest delivery that would come this far into nowhere. Maya picked at lo mein and tried to ignore the anxiety crawling up her spine. Around midnight, headlights cut through the darkness. Maya's heart jumped, but Marcus's radio crackled. "It's Raymond! Stand down!" The tension eased slightly. Raymond came in alone. "Mr. Cain asked me to bring you something," he said, handing Maya a folder. Inside were photos. The man who'd been following her. Screenshots of texts between him and Petrov. Detailed notes about Maya's routine, her apartment, her relationship with Dominic. "He wanted you to see what we're dealing with," Raymond said. "So you understand this isn't paranoia. It's real." Maya's hands shook, looking through the file. Photos of her leaving the penthouse, going to her apartment, meeting Jess for coffee. Every moment cataloged, analyzed, reported. "Where's Dominic now?" she asked. "Finishing the conversation. He'll be back by morning." "What's he doing to him?" Raymond's expression was neutral. "Whatever's necessary." "That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give you." Maya handed back the folder, feeling sick. "I need air." "I'll walk with you." They stepped onto the porch. The night was cold, stars bright in the absence of city lights. Maya wrapped her arms around herself. "How long have you worked for him?" she asked Raymond. 8 years? "Have you ever seen him like this? This afraid?" Raymond considered. "No. Mr. Cain doesn't get attached to people, doesn't let himself. You're the first person I've seen him risk everything for." "Is that good or bad?" "Depends on whether you survive it." The honesty was brutal. "You think I won't?" "I think you're in deeper than you realize. And when people in Mr. Cain's world fall, they fall hard." Raymond looked at her. "But I also think he'd move heaven and earth to catch you, so maybe you'll be the exception. Or maybe I'll just pull him down with me. That's the fear that keeps him up at 3 a.m. They stood in silence, watching the darkness. At dawn, another vehicle approached. This time it was Dominic, alone, looking exhausted. There was blood on his shirt cuff. Maya met him at the door. "Is it done?" she asked. "It's done. Petrov knows if he comes near you again, I'll destroy everything he's built. He's backing off." "You're sure?" "I'm sure." He pulled her into his arms. "It's over, Maya. You're safe." She wanted to believe him, wanted to think the threat had passed and they could go back to normal. But she'd seen the file, seen how easily she'd been watched. And she knew that in Dominic's world, nothing stayed over for long. "What about the Castellanos?" she asked. "Separate problem, but not an immediate threat." "And Victor's enemies?" Dominic pulled back to look at her. "You've been thinking." "I've had time." "The truth? There will always be another threat, another enemy, another person who thinks hurting you is the way to hurt me. That's the reality of my life. Can I live with that reality? I don't know, can you?" Maya thought about Jess's question. Who was she becoming? Someone who accepted this world, or someone strong enough to change it? "I need you to promise me something," she said. "Anything. No more secrets, even the ugly ones, even when you think you're protecting me. I promise. And I need you to teach me how to protect myself. I can't just hide behind your security forever. I need to be able to fight back." Dominic looked surprised. "You want to learn?" "I want to survive. On my own terms. Not just as your weakness." Something shifted in his expression. Pride, maybe. Or respect. "Okay. We start tomorrow." "Today," Maya corrected. "We start today." He smiled, tired but genuine. "Today, then." They went inside together, and Maya realized something had changed. She wasn't just accepting Dominic's world anymore. She was claiming her place in it. Whatever came next, she'd face it with her eyes open, even if that meant staring into darkness. The training started that afternoon in the basement of the Catskills house, a space Maya hadn't known existed until Marcus led her downstairs. It was equipped like a private gym, complete with mats, weights, and a gun range that made her stomach turn. "We'll start with basics," Dominic said, hands wrapped, already warmed up. "Awareness. Instinct. How to get away when someone grabs you." "I thought you were teaching me to fight." "I'm teaching you to survive. Fighting is last resort. Running is smarter." For the next 3 hours, he put her through scenarios. Someone grabs your wrist from behind. Someone corners you in a hallway. Someone pulls you toward a car. Over and over until Maya's body remembered the movements without thinking. "Good," Dominic said when she finally broke his hold and created distance. "Again. I need a break. Attackers don't give breaks. You're not my attacker. You're supposed to be on my side." His expression softened. "I am on your side. That's why I'm not going easy on you. The people who come for you won't care that you're tired or scared. They'll use it against you." He was right. Maya knew he was right. But her body ached and her mind was exhausted, and she wanted to curl up somewhere safe and pretend none of this was necessary. "One more round," she said. "Then I'm done for today." "Deal." This time when he grabbed her, she didn't hesitate. Elbow to ribs, foot to instep, turn and run. Exactly like he'd taught her. "Better," he said, rubbing his ribs. "You're learning." "I'm surviving," There's a difference. Not in my world. They went upstairs. Maya showered, trying to wash away the fear that clung to her skin. When she came out, Dominic was on the phone again, voice low and urgent. I don't care what it takes. Find the leak. Someone told Petrov about Maya. Someone in my organization. I want to know who. He paused. By tomorrow. And when you find them, bring them to me. He hung up, noticed Maya watching. There's a leak? She asked. Has to be. Petrov knew too much. Your schedule, your relationship with me, things that weren't public. Who would do that? Someone I trusted, which makes it worse. He ran a hand through his hair, frustrated. I've spent years building loyalty, paying well, treating my people right. And someone sold me out for what? Money? Revenge? Maybe they were scared, threatened. Then they should have come to me. I protect my people, always have. But betrayal? His jaw tightened. That I don't forgive. Maya sat beside him on the couch. What happens when you find them? They disappear. Not permanently, he added, seeing her expression. But they leave the city, lose access, become a cautionary tale for anyone else thinking about selling me out. That's not justice. That's revenge. In my world, they're the same thing. Maya wanted to argue, wanted to tell him that there was a better way, a cleaner way. But she was learning that Dominic's world didn't run on should-bes. It ran on power and consequences and the understanding that weakness got you killed. I'm going to make dinner, she said, standing. Something normal. Something that doesn't involve threats or violence or betrayal. You cook? I waitressed for 2 years. I learned a few things. She found ingredients in the surprisingly well-stocked kitchen and made pasta with garlic and olive oil, simple and comforting. Dominic watched from the doorway, looking almost peaceful. When's the last time someone cooked for you? Maya asked. Can't remember. I usually eat out or order in. That's sad. That's efficient. It's lonely. He didn't argue. They ate at the table, no phones, no business, just the two of them and the quiet. For a moment, Maya could pretend they were normal. Just a couple having dinner, talking about their day, planning a future that didn't involve guns and safe houses. But the moment broke when Dominic's phone rang. I have to take this, he said, already standing. Maya cleaned up alone, listening to his voice drift from the other room. Angry, controlled, deadly. When he came back, his expression was stone. They found the leak, he said. It's someone close. Who? Vanessa. The name hit like a punch. Vanessa. Who'd taken Maya shopping, shown her the ropes, treated her with something close to friendship. No, Maya said. That can't be right. It is. She's been feeding information to the Castellanos for months about my deals, my movements, about you. Why would she do that? Money. They offered her $500,000 to spy on me. She took it. Maya felt sick. Where is she now? My people have her. They're bringing her to the city tomorrow. He looked at Maya. I want you there when I confront her. Why? Because she betrayed you too. You deserve to hear her explain herself. Maya didn't want to hear it, didn't want to face the woman who'd smiled at her while selling her out. But Dominic was right. She deserved answers. Okay, she said. I'll be there. They drove back to the city the next morning, the landscape changing from trees to buildings, from quiet to chaos. Maya's stomach twisted the whole way. Vanessa was being held in a warehouse in Queens, industrial, isolated, the kind of place where screams wouldn't carry. Maya's hands shook as Raymond led her inside. Dominic was already there, standing in front of Vanessa, who sat in a chair looking smaller than Maya had ever seen her. No designer clothes, no confident smile, just fear. Maya, Vanessa said when she saw her. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't talk to her, Dominic said coldly. You lost that right when you sold her out. I didn't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. You chose money over loyalty. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. They threatened my sister, the Castellanos. They found out about her gambling debts and said if I didn't help them, they'd hurt her. I didn't want to betray you, but I couldn't let them hurt her. So you sacrificed Maya instead? I thought if I gave them small things, information that didn't matter, they'd leave my sister alone. I didn't know they were planning to hurt Maya. I swear I didn't know. Maya stepped forward. When did you find out? Last week. When Petrov's guy got caught. I heard them talking, heard what they were planning. I tried to warn you, but I was too afraid. I thought if I just kept giving them useless information, it would all blow over. People don't blow over in my world, Dominic said. They explode. And you lit the fuse. I know, and I'm sorry. Please, Dominic, my sister. Your sister's debts are paid. I handled it this morning. She's safe. You, on the other hand, are not. Vanessa's face crumpled. What are you going to do to me? That depends on Maya. Both women looked at him in surprise. She's the one you put in danger, Dominic continued. She gets to decide what happens to you. Maya's mind reeled. I don't want that responsibility. You have it anyway. What do you want me to do with her? Vanessa looked at Maya with desperate hope. Maya felt the weight of it, the power of holding someone else's fate in her hands. A month ago, she would have said, forgive her. Let her go. Everyone makes mistakes. But that was before someone had stalked her, before threats and safe houses and learning that mercy in this world was often mistaken for weakness. I want her gone, Maya said finally. Out of the city, away from your business. She doesn't get to profit from betraying us, but she doesn't deserve to be destroyed either. That's more generous than she deserves, Dominic said. Maybe, but I'm not you. I can't make people disappear and sleep at night. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Done. Vanessa, you have 24 hours to pack and leave. If you're still in New York after that, the mercy Maya's showing you ends. Understand? Vanessa nodded frantically. Thank you. Maya, thank you. Don't thank me. Just go, and don't ever contact me again. Raymond escorted Vanessa out. Maya and Dominic stood in the empty warehouse, the silence heavy. You surprised me, Dominic said. Good or bad? Good. You could have asked me to hurt her. Most people in your position would have. I'm not most people. No, you're not. He pulled her close. You're better than this world deserves. Better than I deserve. Don't say that. It's true. You walk through darkness without becoming it. That's rare, Maya. Precious. She leaned into him, drawing strength from his solid presence. I don't feel precious. I feel tired. Then let's go home. Real home. The penthouse. This is over. Is it? The Castellanos are still out there. Victor's enemies. The next person who decides I'm leverage. I'll handle the Castellanos. Victor can handle his own enemies. And anyone who comes for you after this will learn very quickly why that's a fatal mistake. The certainty in his voice should have comforted her. Instead, it reminded her how far she'd fallen into his world, how normal this had all become. I need to see Jess, Maya said suddenly. I need to talk to someone who knows me outside of all this. Okay. Raymond will drive you. I can take the subway. Maya. I need to do something normal, Dominic. Please, let me have this. He hesitated, then nodded. Text me when you get there, and when you leave. I will. She found Jess at the coffee shop, their usual spot, looking worried and relieved when Maya walked in. You're okay, Jess said, pulling her into a hug. I'm alive, not sure if that's the same thing. They sat with their coffees and Maya told her everything. The threats, the training, Vanessa's betrayal, the choice she'd made. Jess listened without interrupting, her expression growing more concerned with each detail. You had someone's fate in your hands, Jess said when Maya finished, and you showed mercy. That's huge. Or stupid. No. That's you holding on to who you are, even when everything's trying to change you. Jess reached across the table. But Maya, you can't keep living like this, waiting for the next threat, the next betrayal. That's not a life. I know. So what are you going to do? I don't know. I love him, Jess. I love him, and I'm terrified, and I don't know how to walk away. Who says you have to walk away? Make him walk toward you instead. Make him choose a life that doesn't involve warehouses and threats and people disappearing. He can't just leave his world behind. Why not? He's rich enough, powerful enough. He could liquidate everything, move somewhere new, start over. He'd never do that. Have you asked? Maya realized she hadn't. She'd accepted that Dominic's world was fixed, unchangeable. But what if it wasn't? What if there was a version of their future that didn't involve constant danger? I'll talk to him, Maya said. Good. Because you deserve better than living in fear. You both do. They finished their coffee, and Maya felt something shift inside her, a decision taking shape. She texted Dominic, "Coming home. We need to talk." His response was immediate. "I'll be waiting." The penthouse felt different when she walked in. Or maybe she was different, clearer about what she needed. Dominic stood by the windows, looking out at the city he'd conquered. He turned when he heard her. "You okay?" he asked. "I need you to answer something honestly. Always. If I asked you to walk away from all this, the business, the power, the world that keeps putting us in danger, could you do it?" He was quiet for a long moment. "Why are you asking?" "Because I need to know if this life is who you are or just what you do. If it's who you are, I can accept that. But if it's just what you do, then maybe we have options." Dominic crossed to her, took her hands. 5 years ago, I would have said this life is everything, that without it, I'm nothing. But that was before you, before I had something that mattered more than power. So what are you saying? I'm saying I could walk away, if that's what you need, if that's what keeps you safe and happy and in my life. Maya's heart swelled. You'd give it all up? For me? In a heartbeat. But I need you to understand what that means. My enemies don't just disappear because I retire. The threats don't stop. And starting over means leaving behind everything I've built. Would you resent me for it? Never. But I need to handle things the right way. The Castellanos, the loose ends, making sure the people who depend on me are taken care of. That takes time. How much time? 6 months? Maybe a year. And then we can go anywhere. Be anyone. Build something new together. Maya thought about it. A year of living in this world, navigating threats and betrayals, and the constant weight of danger. Could she survive that? Could they? What about Victor? She asked. You said you owe him. I do. But Victor would understand. He's always told me that the smart ones know when to walk away. I think he'd respect it. And your people? Marcus, Raymond, everyone who works for you? They're professionals. They'll find other work or come with us if they want. I take care of my people, Maya, even in leaving. She pulled her hands free, paced to the window. The city spread below them, glittering and dangerous and full of possibility. Okay, she said finally. 1 year. You handle what needs handling and then we leave, together. Clean slate. You're sure? No, but I'm choosing it anyway. Choosing you. Choosing us. He crossed to her, pulled her into a kiss that tasted like promises and hope, and the terrifying leap of faith that was love. I'll make it work, he said against her lips. I'll make it safe. Don't make it safe. Make it ours. The next 6 months were a controlled demolition of Dominic's empire. He sold properties, dissolved partnerships, paid off debts and favors until the web of obligations loosened. The Castellanos took one look at the evidence Maya had photographed and settled quietly, their forged contracts exposed and their reputations damaged beyond repair. Anton Petrov disappeared to Moscow after Dominic made it clear that staying in New York meant war. Victor gave his blessing with a knowing smile and a warning to stay in touch. Maya photographed it all. Not for Dominic's records, but for herself. A document of transformation, of a man choosing love over power. She also kept training. Marcus taught her hand-to-hand combat. James taught her situational awareness. Raymond taught her to shoot, though she hated every second of it. You're good, Raymond said after she hit the target center mass 3 times in a row. I'm adequate. There's a difference. In a life or death situation, adequate saves your life. She hoped she'd never need to test that theory. Jess came around slowly, seeing the changes in both of them. Dominic softening at the edges, smiling more, letting go of the need to control everything. Maya learning to stand her ground, to trust her instincts, to be strong without sacrificing kindness. You're good for each other, Jess admitted over drinks one night. I didn't think you would be, but you are. We're learning, Maya said. How to be together without destroying each other. That's all any of us can do. The final piece fell into place on a cold March evening. Dominic had one last meeting, the official transfer of his remaining properties to a holding company managed by people he trusted. After that, he was free. Maya waited at the penthouse, packing the last of their belongings. They were moving to Portland. Smaller city, slower pace, far enough from New York that the ghosts wouldn't follow. Dominic had already bought a house. Nothing extravagant, just a craftsman with a garden and room for a photography studio. A fresh start. When he walked in, he looked lighter somehow, like a weight had been lifted. "It's done," he said. "All of it?" "All of it. I'm officially retired." He pulled out a bottle of champagne. "Stolen from my own cellar. Seemed appropriate." They drank on the balcony, watching the city that had brought them together and nearly destroyed them. "Are you going to miss it?" Maya asked. "The power? No. The city? Maybe. But wherever you are is home now." "That's cheesy." "That's honest." She leaned against him, breathing in the moment. "I'm scared." "Of what?" "That we're running. That this is just a different kind of hiding." "We're not running. We're choosing. There's a difference." He turned her to face him. "I spent my whole life fighting to prove I wasn't nothing, building power and wealth and fear because I thought that's what strength looked like. But you taught me something better." "What's that?" "That real strength is choosing vulnerability. Choosing love even when it's terrifying. Choosing to build something small and real instead of something big and hollow." Tears pricked Maya's eyes. "When did you get so wise?" "About 6 months ago. Right after a photographer with too much courage and not enough fear walked into my life and refused to leave. Best mistake I ever made. Best mistake we both made." They finished the champagne as the sun set, painting the city in golden shadow. Tomorrow they'd leave. Tomorrow they'd start over. Tomorrow they'd find out if love was enough to build a life on. But tonight they had this, each other. And the understanding that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose softness in a hard world. The moving truck came at dawn. Raymond helped load boxes, Marcus made coffee, James did a final security sweep out of habit. Even Victor showed up, surprising them both. "Couldn't let you leave without saying goodbye," the old man said, embracing Dominic. "You did good, son. Knew when to walk away. That takes more courage than staying." "Thank you for everything." Victor turned to Maya. "Take care of him. He's stubborn and thinks he doesn't need help. Prove him wrong." "I will," Maya promised. The drive to Portland took 3 days. They stopped at diners and motels, slowly shedding the skins of who they'd been. By the time they pulled up to the house, they felt like different people. The house was perfect. Old hardwood floors, built-in bookshelves, a kitchen with windows that caught the morning light. Maya claimed the spare room for her studio, already envisioning where her equipment would go. "What are you going to do?" she asked Dominic as they unpacked. "Now that you're retired?" "Haven't figured that out yet. Maybe I'll learn to cook, or garden, or finally read all those books I bought and never opened." "You could do consulting. Help businesses legally this time." "Maybe. Or maybe I'll just figure out how to be normal." He pulled her close. "With you. That's enough." They spent the first month settling in. Maya built her studio and started taking clients, local businesses, family portraits, the kind of work that felt honest and simple. Dominic did odd jobs around the house, learning that he was terrible at gardening but decent at carpentry. They fought sometimes. About small things mostly, dishes, schedules, whose turn it was to grocery shop. Normal couple fights that felt revolutionary after everything they'd survived. And slowly, the fear faded. The looking over shoulders. The waiting for the next threat. It didn't disappear completely. Maya still checked locks twice. Dominic still noticed exits in every room. But it became background noise instead of a constant scream. One evening, 6 months after the move, they sat on their porch watching sunset paint the sky. "You happy?" Dominic asked. Maya thought about it, really thought. "Yeah, I think I am. Are you?" "More than I ever thought I'd be." He took her hand. "Thank you." "For what?" "For sending that photo to the wrong number. For showing up when I asked. For choosing me even when it would have been smarter to run. Thank you for being worth choosing." They sat in comfortable silence, two people who'd found each other in chaos and built something calm. It wasn't perfect. Maya still had nightmares about warehouses and threats. Dominic still woke up sometimes reaching for a gun that wasn't there. But they had each other. And a house with creaky floors. And a life built on the understanding that love wasn't about finding someone perfect. It was about finding someone worth fighting for. "I love you," Maya said into the quiet. I love you too. Simple words. But after everything, they felt like enough. The sun set completely, leaving them in gentle darkness. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, bills to pay, clients to meet, the ordinary struggles of ordinary life. But tonight, they had this: peace, safety, home, and the knowledge that sometimes the wrong number leads to exactly the right place. Maya had spent her life afraid of making mistakes, afraid of not being enough, afraid of mattering too much or too little. She'd learned that mistakes were just choices you hadn't planned on making, and sometimes they were the best choices of all, because that photo, sent in haste to a stranger, had led her here, to a porch in Portland with a man who'd chosen her over power, to a life built not on perfection, but on honest effort and stubborn hope. She'd learned that strength wasn't about never being afraid. It was about being terrified and choosing courage anyway. That love wasn't about finding someone who completed you. It was about finding someone who challenged you to complete yourself. And she'd learned that home wasn't a place. It was a person, a choice, a daily commitment to show up even when it was hard. "What are you thinking about?" Dominic asked. "How far we've come, how different everything is." "Regret any of it?" "Not even the scary parts. You?" "Never." He pulled her closer. "Every mistake, every threat, every moment I thought I'd lose you. It was worth it to end up here. Here being Portland. Here being with you." Maya smiled into the darkness. "That's still cheesy. That's still honest." And that, Maya thought, was the real victory. Not escaping Dominic's world or building a new life, but finding someone who valued honesty over pretense, who chose vulnerability over armor, who proved that even people forged in darkness could choose to live in light. The stars came out, bright and clear in a sky unmarred by city glow. Maya made a silent promise to them, to herself, to the universe that had conspired to send her photo to exactly the wrong, or maybe exactly the right, number. She promised to keep choosing courage, keep choosing love, keep choosing the messy, imperfect, beautiful work of building a life with someone who saw her completely and stayed anyway. Because in the end, that's what mattered. Not the money or the danger or the dramatic transformation, but the quiet moments on porches, the ordinary days that added up to a life. The choice, made new each morning, to stay. "Come on," Dominic said, standing and pulling her up. "It's getting cold." They went inside together, into the warmth of the home they'd built from ruins and wrong numbers and stubborn hope. And Maya finally understood what home meant. It meant being known, being chosen, being loved not despite your mistakes, but sometimes because of them. It meant sending a photo to the wrong number and finding, against all odds, that it was exactly right.